at that time, I think I had been fired from restaurant maybe 5 or 6 times already. I figured this was enough. I went on to start getting fired from other places, like call centers and stuff.
Okay.
That's crazy. Nicki Minaj had a job before rap. I think she started rapping like 24, 25. When is that? When she dropped her first tape? If y'all know, y'all Nicki fans go crazy. Let me know when she dropped her first mixtape and how old was she when she dropped her first mixtape. Right now I'm 22, so I still feel like I got a lot of time to do whatever it is that I want to do. I done had 4 jobs total. Now, it's lucky that I didn't get fired from none of my jobs. I walked out on all 4. No 2 weeks notice. Now, I want to say this is my first interview that I'm bringing to this channel. Today, we're going to be reacting to Nicki Minaj's full Vogue interview. And I seen like a clip where she was talking about where she got fired from Red Lobster and just basically talking about her whole life before she started rapping, which I found very valuable to me. Due to me, y'all know my situation right now. I quit my job probably 5 months ago to chase YouTube as my, what did I just say? To chase YouTube as my main career, and whatever comes after that, you know, I'm looking forward to it. But just me becoming a full-time entrepreneur is something that I always wanted to do, you know, having full control over my freedom and unlocking the potential of the amount of money that I can make versus being held down of the limitations of a 9-to-5. Now, that's not saying anybody out there that's working a 9-to-5, bro, it's no knocks to you, because, you know, it's different strokes for different folks, man. I'm just the type of person that I just like to be in control of my own destiny and not helping somebody else become rich versus myself. I want to be rich in this lifetime. You know, that's just something that I always wanted to do. Without further ado, make sure y'all like this video, subscribe, comment down below. I hope I learned something about Nicki Minaj that I never knew before. I know Nicki is one of the people that y'all love watching me react to on this channel. So let's get right into this reaction, man.
All right, well, I see a lot of cameras out. I approve of this as someone who works for Instagram. Get the content. Get that vertical content for stories, ma'am. I see you holding the phone sideways.
Hey, I get it. I'm already on game too. I just uploaded my first YouTube short. We got to get that traction in on this channel when it comes to views. We got to get it in.
You guys, we are so blessed to have Miss Nicki Minaj here.
I'm so blessed to be here. And by the way, thank you guys for being here, if any of you came for me specifically. And if you haven't, I want to just say thank you to Anna, Vogue, everyone, Sergio, and you guys. Let's have some fun.
We're gonna have fun.
She look amazing.
Chloe did a great introduction. She shared some of the most amazing stats, and I just want to read them out again because I want to take a moment to acknowledge how impressive they are truly. In 8 months, your world tour visited 16 countries, 26 states, sold out 50 shows. You had almost 800,000 fans, Barbs, and you are the highest selling female rap tour of all time, period.
I gotta give it to her. Because in the last reaction, y'all was talking about me saying that Cardi B was #1. I don't remember saying that. So if you got a clip of me saying Cardi B was over Nicki Minaj, comment it in the timestamps that where I said Cardi B was #1. Because I promise you, I don't remember saying that. I know Nicki Minaj write all her raps. I don't know. I can't say the same for Cardi B. I don't know.
#1 highest selling female rap tour of all time, period, again. And the #4 highest selling rap tour of all time, male or female. So,
male or female is crazy.
I wanted to start by asking, in a year where, well, in a few weeks, hopefully, the future could be female, how does it feel to be the highest selling female rap tour of all time? How does that feel to you?
Well, I feel very grateful. I have a very close-knit relationship with my fans, and they went very hard for me. So I feel a lot of gratitude. Every night at the shows, it was a different show completely every night because, you know, I do different songs, but just their emotion and passion, it just always does something to me as well. So we made these amazing memories. So it's more to me. I mean, of course, I wasn't expecting to have the highest anything. To be honest, I didn't even know that I was in the running. But even if I didn't have that, I would have been still so grateful because the time that I spent with the Barbs at these shows, it was healing for me as well. They said it was healing for them, their inner child, but it was healing for something within me as well.
That's a great segue, actually.
When I was listening to Pink Friday 1, it was healing for me too. Like these times that I'm going through right now, you know, trying to figure out my life as an adult now, you know, just hearing that Pink Friday soundtrack brought back some very good moments when I was a child. Some good times. Way before social media even blew up to what it was today. I think it was just MySpace and Facebook back then.
Because you and I actually met when I worked at Teen Vogue many years ago. Still love teens, and I don't know if we can pull up the picture of when we met 12 years ago. This is going to be a cringe moment for me, not for you. For me.
Cringe moment.
In advance because
Ooh, look at her.
in this picture, not sure if the slideshow's coming up. It's moving very slowly, but it'll come up. I want to take you back to when you were a teen. What would teenage Nicki think of yourself?
I need this. I need this.
She would love all of this. Like, she would be so proud.
Oh, there's the picture. Guys.
But you look so cute. You were doing like
Okay,
a
so
little bar pose.
the concept of the story is that you were giving me a makeover. This
Yes.
is 12 years ago. My stomach is out. I don't know.
I did a Barb makeover for her. And she, even in her face, she embodied the whole vibe of Barb's. So, yeah.
Yes, I also had a bowl cut. I just want to pause for a moment to acknowledge the hair. We're not going to go back there. We're not going back. We're not going back. But
Look like that's what
let's
she
go
got
back
now.
to your teenage
Nah, that ain't no
self.
bowl
Like,
cut.
What would you think about, what would teenage Nicki think about yourself? I know you went to LaGuardia. You studied drama. How did that work out for you?
Well, I was very disappointed that I didn't become a big, huge, famous actress. And I wanted to become this big, famous actress within 2 years of graduating high school. So I told everybody in my school, by the time I'm 19, I'm going to be the new Halle and Jada, because I was obsessed with both of them. Well, I was really...
Halle Berry and Jada Pinkett. I would have never thought that's who she would want to be. But let me say, in the beginning of this video, I know the volume was a little bit low. I just seen it just now and I turned it up. So the volume should be good after this.
obsessed with Jada. But it didn't happen. I realized that when you want to be an actor, you have to get up really early in the morning and go on these things called casting calls. And at that time, I went on a few. A lot of agents were actually interested in me, which was good. But I made a decision. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do all of this yet. So I said, you know, like how a lot of people say, I'm going to take a year to not go to college and just live life. I said that kind of like to myself. Like, instead of pursuing my acting, I'm going to go and get a job. I went and became a waitress. And all of the acting stuff kind of went out of the window. Because it takes a lot of commitment. That's why when I meet actresses and actors, I always pull them aside, like I did Margot Robbie when we were at the Barbie premiere. And I pulled her aside and I was like, I'm really proud of you, and I don't want you to think I'm just saying this like how everyone else says it. I was like, I know how much this takes to be an actress and to be doing these huge lead roles. But anyway, so after waitressing, I started focusing more on music, because with music, you can go to the studio late at night, you can work in the day, and you can do music at night.
That's what I'm saying. It's so much, not music, but it's so much freedom and control when it comes to music or doing content creation. But whenever you, like, trying to be an actor, you have to depend on other people, like, approval to get the part, to be in the movie, and just so forth. Like, when you can just be yourself when it comes to music. Or with me right now, I could create my own movie. I got a camera and I got a lens. That's all you need. Microphones. All I got to do is perform my acting skills on this camera, and boom, there's a movie. But for me to have to like want to be an actor and be a part of someone else's movie, and depending on their approval is whether I get the job or not, that's just something that I don't want to do. And then it reminds me of just being in a 9 to 5. They get to pick how much I'm gonna perform my acting skills for that movie. No, I'd rather just do my own.
So it was easier for me to juggle both of those things. And I loved music. So I put acting on the back burner, focused on music, got fired from every job that I ever had.
I ain't never got
doing
fired.
waitressing, and I was a customer service rep, and I was an
I
office
walked
manager.
straight out,
And I would
all
always
of
get
them.
fired.
What was the reason? What did they say in the exit interview? Don't hold back words.
Okay. Well, one of the big ones was as a waitress. A lot of times people would come and they wouldn't like leave a big tip, and that's rude. But it's not even. It was so that day. I guess I was just a little bit frustrated because this lady came in with her boyfriend, I guess, and they were being like, I don't know, I guess annoying. So, but they needed my pen to sign the credit card slip. And I knew they weren't going to leave me a tip, so I didn't even care. But I went back to the table, and not only did they not leave me a tip, but they took my pen. So that set me off for some reason that day. It was just one of those days, and I knew I should not have done this. I still can't believe I did it. I really needed the job, but I ran outside into the parking lot, and they were just about to leave. As fate would have it, had I come out 5 seconds later, I would have still had my job. But I caught them right as they were about to turn out of the parking lot structure in the Bronx Red Lobster.
Bronx.
But anyway, so I banged on the window, "Give me my pen!" And I literally banged on their window hard enough to break it. So they were like, "What the heck?" And they got out of the car, both of them, and I went back in the restaurant, and they told on me, and I got fired.
Now, I heard this story before, but listening to it again, I didn't know she broke the window. So, yeah, I can see why they fired you. I can see.
I have so many questions, guys. Was it a nice pen?
It wasn't a nice pen. It was not an unusual pen in any way. It was just the principle. It was like, you didn't tip. I gave you amazing service. Sometimes people are rude because they know they don't have enough money to tip, but they want to go out to a restaurant anyway. And I guess, you have the right to not tip or not leave a big tip. But don't take my pen.
There we go.
So, that was that. And they marched in the restaurant, and they went straight to my manager and told on me. And that was it. That was the last time I got fired, though. At that time, I think I had been fired from restaurant maybe 5 or 6 times already. I figured this was enough. I went on to start getting fired from other places, like call centers and stuff.
Okay.
That's crazy. Nicki Minaj had a job before rap. I think she started rapping like 24, 25. When is that? When she dropped her first tape? If y'all know, y'all Nicki fans go crazy. Let me know when she dropped her first mixtape, and how old was she when she dropped her first mixtape. Right now, I'm 22, so I still feel like I got a lot of time to do whatever it is that I want to do. I done had 4 jobs total. Now, it's lucky that I didn't get fired from none of my jobs. I walked out on all 4.
Okay. All right. Well,
No 2 weeks notice.
resilience,
Yes.
grit.
And I can type.
How fast can you type?
Wow, I haven't been asked that in so long. I would say maybe 30. Is that
That's
bad or good? 30 words per minute or 20? I don't know. I haven't done that in a while,
That
but
is-
I know all of my key. I know where everything goes.
I'm going to be
if I-
honest, that's okay. That's okay.
Thanks.
But it's hard with nails to type.
Oh no,
also.
I didn't have nails at that time when I was doing that.
Okay.
We had to type very fast because once the person gets off the phone, you already have to have all the data in the system. So while you're talking, you're kind of like, oh, okay, thank you. Da, 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 da. You have to type everything before they get off the phone, because if they hang up the phone and you didn't put the data in, someone calls right back in, and you have to take that call. Now, when that customer calls back, their information isn't updated, and they're going to start yelling and screaming. So, yeah.
I was not expecting, by the way, this conversation to go this direction.
It's a good direction.
We talked about words per minute. We talked about Red Lobster. We talked about pen theft. I know what I'm sending you for Christmas, a box of pens. It's happening. So on Instagram, you have over 220 million followers, which is a lot of people, guys. As someone who works at Instagram, let me tell you, that's a lot. And 500,000 people on your broadcast channel alone. I think this is reflective of the passion that your fans have for you. Can you talk a little bit about fan culture? When did you first realize that your fan culture would be a true movement?
That's a great question. I think before I signed and actually had a record deal, my fans were making a moment for themselves on Twitter. I had already given them a name. In fact, do you know that all these artists that give their fans names now, like when I started calling my fans the Barbs, there were no rappers naming their fans. There were only 2 people at that time, and I don't know which came first. I know Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga. They had Beliebers and Monsters. Those were that was it. That was it. Now every single human being that becomes an artist gives their fans a name. Even artists in other countries, I didn't even know that. Like some of the African artists that I love, when I would look into them, they would have names for their fan base. And I was like, whoa, yeah. So I didn't think it was something that would spread to the hip-hop community at all. But it doesn't matter, because the Barbs are still superior.
It's crazy. It had to be like 2009, 2010. I remember my sister went to Cosmos. If y'all don't know what Cosmos is, it's like one of them markets where they sell like baby fat, fake jewelry, hair, nails, all that stuff. She had got her a Barbie chain from there. Everybody had them Barbie chains.
They are different because what they do is they do it with passion. You know, if you do anything, it has to be rooted in love. So sometimes people do things and it's rooted in revenge or vengeance. And that doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't take off. It does something for a moment, but that's that. But because the Barbs and I we really love each other, and also because they actually like my music, which people forget now too, that music is what's being sold. So if you do everything else right and you don't know how to make music or write a great song, it doesn't matter how big your butt is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what brands you wear. In the root of everything has to be the talent and the passion. Understanding what you do and why. If you're only doing it to compete, it's going to come and go. Because the universe doesn't honor that. It honors that passion that you've always had inside of you, that you know that you're put here to do something. And you do it with all of yourself. You love doing it, that thing. Like music always seemed to be my rescue, my place, my go-to place, you know?
Music is medicine. Music is medicine to me. It's the greatest form of digital art today. But to me, you know how they got the NFTs going, but the NFTs, to me, digital art, to me, digital art ain't really nothing. But music is the greatest form of digital art that we have today. But I feel as if it gets, is pirated the right word? But I just feel like we downgrade music so much to from what it really actually is, like the worth of it. Like, you know how Spotify, you can pay for a subscription to listen to music, but bro, we can just go to YouTube and listen to free for free. But with movies, we don't have access to movies as much as we do with music. If y'all get what I'm trying to say, help me articulate myself a little bit better, because I'm still having a hard time as a human being articulating myself. But I just feel like music should be valued the same way that we value movies, and protected like movies are protected. But music is not the same way with music. If you want to listen to a song for free, you can do it. But with a movie, you can't do it.
I came from another country, Trinidad, and when we came to New York, it was scary being an immigrant and speaking differently. And back then, you know how kids are. They would definitely tease you if you have an accent and stuff like that, or what you eat and all that stuff. Like when I went to my first school trip, my mother didn't know you were supposed to buy like a hero from the corner store to go to the trip. So she sent me with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and all the kids laughed.
Oh. You can't even do peanut butter in school trips anymore. It has to be sun butter.
Really?
Like, because of peanut allergies.
Man,
I know this because I packed for a field trip. Now I'm paranoid I didn't get her, a sandwich from the corner store. Maybe my kid's a social pariah.
Nice.
I should have done that.
Nice. But yeah, so we didn't know anything about American culture, and we had to learn as we went along. But
what? Got it on a black screen.
it broke huge records, and I was thinking, oh no one knows me. It's not gonna sell. No one's gonna hear it. But yeah.
Well, in like about a decade later, you did end up on the cover of Vogue in a full circle moment. And first of all, I think on your speed dial, you should change Anna's name to Baby Girl. I'm just putting that out there.
Okay.
And secondly, I'd like to hear a little bit for this audience that's fashion obsessed. We've been seeing this amazing slideshow of images of your fashion evolution. That was a decade ago. How do you feel like your confidence in fashion and self-expression has evolved?
Well, you know what? Someone told me years ago, a few different women in my life, at different times in my life, told me, when you get to a certain age, you're going to be so happy. The things that you used to worry about and think about and care about, you won't. You won't anymore. You'll have this confidence. And I said, no, I was sweating the small stuff, so to speak, And of course, they were all right. They were all right. What happens is you realize that who cares? Like, who cares about most of the things that we spend time worrying about or thinking about if someone said something about us or what comment someone left on the internet about us? You realize, wait a minute, I have all these blessings in my life, and I'm choosing to focus on people who don't like me, or it just, anyway, so that confidence, when you turn a certain age, I feel like when you turn 30, 40, 50, I think like milestone ages, right, especially for women, your confidence just grows and grows and grows. And also, this is true, and every woman knows it. You also know what looks good on your body. You start knowing what looks like what hairstyle fits your face, what makeup fits your face. You just start understanding yourself better. And when you understand yourself better, you forgive yourself. You're able to love yourself, and you're able to love the imperfections that you never loved before. I couldn't look at old photos of myself before, and when I look at them now, I love them. I don't know what was going on in my brain at that time that made me feel that way, but Thank goodness it left. And I hope all girls everywhere, girls or boys everywhere, I hope that you know that one day you're going to look back at those pictures that you hate and you're going to realize, oh my God, look how beautiful, look how pretty, look how cute I was. So
I'm adopting that mindset right now. I needed to hear that because it was so many moments that caused me to not get in front of this camera of what I'm doing right now because I was so caught up in what other people thought about me, and especially like people in my hometown, like if they ever came across my channel. At this point, I don't care no more because I'm doing what I love to do. I am in a fortunate position of being able to chase my dreams when I know a lot of people have to get up and go to a job that they hate. Get up and have to stomach in the fact that they don't have support in this life. And it's fortunate that I do, so I got to make the best out of it. So why am I going to get caught up about someone else judging me about what I'm doing that I love doing? And then when you think about it, I'm only thinking about the negative things that somebody could say about me. But why I don't think about the positive? And even if they did have something negative to say about what I'm doing, how can you judge me when you're not doing the same thing that I'm doing? For example, I'm a YouTube channel that's showing my face. It's so many other channels out here that have like negative things to say about what I'm doing, the comments that I make on certain reaction videos. But when I click their page, there's no profile picture of no content on their page. So it's like, can I really even take what you saying serious when I'm the one who got the content out, but you're just criticizing me for something you not showing me how to do better? Hey man, that's what helped me gain confidence when I'm behind this camera now.
so do it now. Like, love yourself now.
I love
That's what
that.
I would say about that, because that's how I really feel right now.
I love that. You have a lyric about shooting with Carl Lagerfeld before his passing. I know that you were one of the last shoots that he did. Can you talk a little bit about that for the fashion fans in the audience?
Sure. I don't know why meeting him, I was very nervous, of course. Well, you know why, of course. It was him. But he made me feel so welcome. He was very warm.
It's very funny.
He's funny. He's obviously very smart. But one of the things I will never forget about him is how fast he knows if we have the picture or not. And I said, oh my God, because I always feel like that. I always feel like you don't need to take 100 pictures. You don't need to take 300 pictures, right? But some photographers just like having it because they're like, you never know when the magic's going to happen. But with Carl, he knew, and he would like take 5 pictures and he would say, and then, or he would take 10 pictures and say, we got it. And I
He would do a thumbs up.
Yeah, like he would say, we got it. Like, but he wasn't very like loud. You know, he was very suave. He had his shades on, his fly clothes.
Oh.
He looked very, very fly in person every time I ever saw him. But for that photo shoot, I just remembered how he didn't need a lot of time to think about if we have something special or not. So for that photo shoot, there was one outfit that we didn't use, but he knew within 2 minutes. Nope, it's not gonna work. Bye, take it off. I was like, okay. But I loved him. I loved him before I knew him. I loved his work before I knew him. Never thought I would have the opportunity to be photographed by him, to be honest. Never, ever in a billion years saw that coming, but another blessing.
Well, your career has been, and your life has been a series through incredibly hard work of these milestone, never thought I would ever fill in the blank moments. What's left? I mean, is there anything left?
Another great question.
I'm asking the deep ones. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, why not? Aren't we all tired of the non-deep questions and the fluff and the nonsense?
Oh, don't worry, I have that too.
Oh, okay. Well, what's next is, well, focusing on my son. Because I love him so much.
as much as that is a great thing to do, I know the fans might not like that because it's not a lot of good music in today's generation that we got going on. Or maybe it is. It's just I haven't came across it yet. Nicki Minaj is in her 40s, and now y'all are starting to witness. Y'all know back then they used to say, man, if you ain't made it in rap or music by 21, you're done. Like, they just be creating the most wildest standards out here. But as you see, Nicki Minaj is still dropping albums in her 40s, and people are still coming out to see her as if she's the hottest thing out. Y'all see she is the number one female rapper to have that many people come out and show her the support and the money she's made. It really shows you what's possible. Future in his 40s, still going crazy. Kanye, almost 50, going crazy with music. It really shows you that I feel we haven't really evolved when it comes to the new artists to where we would push these artists like Nicki, Drake, Future, Kanye, all those type artists to the side to really focus on Ice Spice, a Lotto, a Cardi B. I just feel like they music ain't good enough yet to where we take our focus off of them. Not saying that we would ever take our focus off of them artists if the new generation artists had good music. It's just, man, what the mark that they left on this planet with they raps, they songs, the collaborations during that specific time period where social media wasn't big. To us, we'll forever hold that moment forever in our hearts. So you just gotta really appreciate it while it's here, when they here. But Nicki Minaj says she wanna focus on her son, just like Beyonce did with her kids. We rarely see her do anything.
That was actually my next question because you have a lot of nicknames. You love a nickname. Queen of Rap, Roman, Nikki Lewinsky, Nikki the Ninja, Nikki the Boss. The list goes on. Nikki the Harajuku Barbie. But I feel like your favorite nickname is probably Mom or Mommy.
Ah.
And I know you have a 4-year-old son. That's a crazy age. I have 3 kids, 10, 7, and 3.
Oh my gosh.
And
So you know exactly what I'm going through right now. Oh my gosh. Anybody with toddlers oh my gosh.
There's like 2 people. There's only 2 people in the room.
Do you guys have children and you remember what the toddler stage was like? I wish I had people to help me. The thing is, I was pregnant during COVID, right?
Yeah.
And it was at the time when it was the scariest time of COVID because we didn't know how dangerous it was. And I didn't want anyone to fly in from New York because I didn't want to be responsible for like a loved one going on the plane and getting COVID. So I didn't even let anyone fly into Cali to help me. Mm-hmm. But now I realize you do need women that have had children I made a lot of mistakes with that. But I remember everybody telling me, oh, toddler age, it's going to be some of the most fun stuff you've ever experienced. It's gonna be a lot because they are very, but it's true. Every single day, and this did not happen before my son was born. The first thing when I wake up and I look at and I see him, I'm in a good mood. That's the only thing that when I experience in the morning, because you know how when you get up in the morning, you think about all the things you have to do, and you think about all the things you didn't do, and then you think about, oh my God, this is gonna, like, you just worry, in the morning, instead of saying, I'm going to be amazing today, everything's gonna go in my favor today, things are gonna work out today. Most of the times we wake up, before we even get out of bed, we're just worrying. And once I had my son, that changed for me, because he would either run in my room or I would go in his room, and when I see him, he's just so sweet. So I have no choice but to light up when I see him. Mm. And I think I needed to learn that. Mm. I think I needed to learn to be just grateful, just to wake up, just for the day, just for nothing else but the people that you have around you in your home, or the people who you can count on, people who love you, just for nothing else. As opposed to waking up thinking, I I didn't get this yet, and I didn't get this yet, and I want this amount of money this year, and I don't. That's what I was doing every other time. But since my son got here, it's different. And then once I stopped all of that worrying, I was able to finally write this last album and complete it to my standards and felt like it was great enough for my fans. So I guess what I'm saying is, whatever you do in life, the moment you let go, it's the moment everything comes to you, right? Like, I don't know if anyone understand. Like, the moment you have nothing to prove, or you're not chasing anyone or anything, or you're not like in need, everything comes. You just attract things. And I always tell people, being broke is a state of mind. I'm sure every single person in here knows someone who may have had the same amount of money as you growing at at a certain age, but something about them, they always presented themselves or made people looked at them as if they had more, because they knew they would get it eventually. So they kind of walked around with this thing about them, and yeah.
This is the perfect This is the perfect interview that I could have chosen to watch of Nicki Minaj. This 40-something-year-old grown woman. This is the perspective that I need to be able to get those gems and apply it to my own life now that I'm in my 20s. She basically said being broke is a state of mind. And when I was at my 9 to 5, that state of mind, to me, was not going to get me the life that I was looking for when it comes to being wealthy, not living paycheck to paycheck, being able to buy myself things that I wanted without going into debt to be able to acquire those things, because that's basically my job telling me that I'm not worth having the things that I really desire having in life if I got to go into debt to get it.
This was extremely philosophical, guys. I am like soaking this up. I feel like you could write, truly, you had people transfixed, and that was very profound. Truly, and I feel embarrassed to ask my fluffy questions now.
No.
About like how motherhood has changed your style, because I am curious, because I saw on Instagram you had a picture where you're wearing all white and your son is wearing all white, and as a mother of a toddler, how are you wearing all white with a toddler?
I had just come home from a show. And he does this thing where he wants to make sure, while we were on tour, he didn't want to like ever have his sneakers off, or he would be completely dressed thinking like, okay, just in case they're getting in the bus or the plane or whatever, I want to be there. Because he thinks like he's a rock star, like he's living that life and going out going on the bus all the time. But he was dressed when I came back from my show. It was like 2:00 in the morning.
Aww.
And he wants to always be dressed. I've never seen any kid do that. He wakes up in the morning before he eats breakfast. He puts on clothes.
Whoa.
And a hat.
A hat? Tell me about the hat. Baseball cap, fedora?
Yeah.
A newsboy?
Like a fitted cap. He puts those on every morning. He wakes up and he goes straight to his clothes. He wants to be dressed. We don't know where he's going. When he was 1, we saw him going like this, like looking at us from the corner of his eye and acting as if he was about to go through the laundry room and like escape from our house. He was 1 and some change. I never knew a child could be like slick.
I'm not surprised though, you're a child. Come on, I love that. So I believe we have time for 2.
Oh, but I'm sorry, Mama.
Oh,
My fashion did change. My fashion choices, not necessarily with my son, but the lyrics I write started to weigh heavier on my mind once I had a child. And even while I was pregnant, I couldn't write certain things. I just felt like ill. But I don't think it's necessarily that I have a child that changed my style. I think it's just growing up, evolving, and like I said, loving yourself more so you can be a little bit understated. I think when I was doing all of the bigger stuff, it was to cover up something else, you know? But now, but I'm still sporty sometimes and sexy sometimes. I love wearing comfortable stuff, to be honest.
The
but-
heels today don't seem comfortable. They're low though. They're like 4 inches.
They're a lot with the heavy coat.
I was about to say.
It was
This
a
is a
lot.
thick. Is it scaparelli? Is it like it's very thick and heavy? I like.
I know this wall is.
Are we about to do a fit check?
This wall is a liar, but
It's scaparelli.
yes, it is.
We saw the scaparelli.
One of
paint.
my who's absolutely one of my faves.
I love.
Yes.
Okay, so before, because I know that there are audience members with questions, we're gonna go. I cannot see a thing because we have bright lights. We're gonna start here with. Let's start with the young lady. Move back, and you guys have the world's. Like you got to talk real fast.
Hi, Nikki. I love you.
Mama.
Okay, so one of the things I admire about you is that you're always speaking up when there's injustices. So how did you get the confidence to advocate for yourself, especially as a black woman in a male-dominated industry? Clock it.
Well,
I thought she was about to ask about that Lil Wayne and Jay-Z Twitter thing she had going on. I hope somebody asks about that.
Speaking up for anything is hard. No matter how brave a person seems, they're just like you. They're just like everyone else. It's scary. But I don't know. I always had to be around men to be a rapper. I would always be the only girl there most of the time. But I have a very masculine vibe when I need to. So I think that's why I was able to do well in this space. But in terms of speaking up for injustice, I was always like that since I was in school. Since I was in elementary school. I was one of those kids, like if I saw someone being bullied in school, I would say, no. You know, I was always like that. I always take up for people. So that's never going to change.
Thank you. And then I think there was a question.
Hello. Hi.
Oh, hi. Yes.
You collaborated with a lot of people. Madonna, Drake. I mean, the list goes on and on. Who challenged you the most, both on the music or fashion side?
That's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great question. Definitely on the fashion side, I would say Madonna for the Super Bowl. And I ended up loving what she came up with. But I remember walking into, like, the Super Bowl thing. They were rehearsing, and I had to perform with her. And I didn't believe how many people were there just for clothes. And I thought it was for Madonna, but they were for her dancers. And, like, she had, like, 10 different outfits just for her dancers alone to choose from. And I was like, oh my God, this woman has a lot of money because this is crazy. And you know, she was very like, and which I am like that too. Anything, like all the dancers around me, whatever, I want to look at them and see exactly how it looks, or the people in my video. So she was very on things like that, and I ended up loving what I wore, what she chose for me to wear at the Super Bowl. In terms of challenging me musically, I had writer's block after having my son. And the song Seeing Green is the first song, which features Drake and Wayne, is the first song that I wrote and completed after having the baby. And I was so scared because not one thing could come to me for months and months and months. And then Drake sent me this song, and I'm like, uh-oh, now what am I going to do? Am I going to be a baby, or am I going to rise to the challenge? And I you know, I kept sending him different verses, and he and I would both be like, it's missing this or it's missing that or whatever. And then I ended up finally getting a verse that he loved and I loved, but it was very, very challenging. I didn't know that after you have a baby, things that came so naturally to you could change, you know. I had no clue, but my brain felt so different. I don't know.
Nicki, they just started studying a woman's brain during and after pregnancy. Can you believe in like all this time, last year was the first time they studied a woman's brain during pregnancy, and it's proven that the brain like permanently changes in her. So, but you were still...
Are you serious?
Yeah, but you're still able to be incredibly creative and productive, just in a different way.
Wow.
So I think, unfortunately, that is all we have time for. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom,
Thank you for
your philosophy.
Thank you.
It's great to reunite with you. You can give me another makeover anytime.
I love how you look now.
Feel
You do not
free.
need a makeover.
And enjoy your afternoon, everyone. And let's give Nicki another huge round of applause.
Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for checking.
Well, there we have it. Nicki Minaj full Vogue interview, Forces of Fashion. I'm glad I clicked this video. I almost didn't because I thought it was strictly going to be talking about fashion. But she also has some gems in here about her life, kind of her life documentary before rap. And like I said, man, she dropped some gems in here that I found very inspirational when it came down to your self-esteem. And, you know, as you get older, the things that you care about now, you're not going to care about it later on. But I feel that way now. Like I said, I feel like the things that I once cared about back then when I was a teenager or like 20 years old, now that I'm 22, I'm realizing that, dude, we're all human beings. We all have a day that we're going to pass away. This one life that I get to live, why am I going to live that life for other people? I'm going to make sure I do whatever it is that I want to do in this lifetime to where I live a fulfilling life. And whatever somebody else doing with their life, that's on them. Whatever somebody else commenting about my life, that don't got nothing to do with me. As long as I look in the mirror and I'm happy with what I'm doing and the person that I am and who I'm becoming, that's all that matters. But I had a brain cluster at one part of this video. But what I was trying to say is when I said being broke is a state of mind, it's really about intellectual capital. You only know the things that you know when it comes to getting money. So if you are broke and you lack the skills of making money and the only way that you know how to make money is through a job, then that means that that thing that you're doing for money is not working because you're doing something that's not bringing in the amount of money that you would like to have. It's thousands, millions, billions of ways to make money and make more money than the way that you're doing. The only thing that you lack is the information and the skills to be able to make that a reality for yourself. It's millions and billions of other people that are in way fortunate situations when it comes to finances than people like me and other people that want to just be in a better financial situation are at. All we got to do is implement the habits that these wealthy, successful people do within their 24 hours in a day, and I promise you, our lives will change. And I'm saying that from a position of not having the wealth yet. So I just know what's possible if I just keep going in this route right here. So I hope y'all found that somewhat of inspiration. It's your boy Haven. Make sure y'all like this video, subscribe. I hope y'all found this interview useful to y'all lives too. And I'm out, man. To the next video.